I entered several relationships. I jumped literally from one relationship, from one man to another. Nagising na lang ako kasi hinihipuan ako. Hinahawakan ng aking legs and all this and that. God really preserved my purity, my virginity. Hi everybody, welcome back. It's me again, Cley, and you are listening to Molding Cley, where we can hear what God has to say. I said we because I know that out of this podcast, I too have something to listen to, or there's also some things that I should learn. I believe in preaching to yourself because I believe, sorry, ang dami kong binibilieve in life. I believe na just because it's me talking here doesn't mean na I have perfected everything that comes out of my mouth. So I know now what comes out of here is something I too should learn, and I too should hear, and probably, when I rewatch this or listen to this later on, meron din ako mapupulot. Hopefully, that God will not just speak to you, but even to me. And that's also one thing that I have been desiring and praying for ever since I thought of starting up a podcast. Na, alam mo yun, we all together just learn about what God has prepared for us in this life and how good He is as a Father, as a God, as a provider. And ayun. Anyways, for today's episode, relax lang tayo dahil I will be sharing something very, very personal. And I want to speak the truth here, right now, of how it was for me back then, coming from a broken home or a broken family. So, backtrack lang po. That time, my parents decided to separate. Hindi pa po kami Christians noon. We haven't gotten to know Christ yet in our lives. Not one of my sisters, not even my mom, not even my dad. But growing up, tinasali kami ng lola namin sa mga VBS. That's what they call it. It's the Vacation Bible School. So, kami ng mga kapatid ko, we used to, during summertime, meron kaming sinasalihan na Christian community where they conduct this VBS. Ganon. And we really enjoyed that. That's been a core memory talaga sa akin, even when I haven't known Christ yet at that time. Yes, syempre, super bata pa kami noon. So, I basically, yung depth nung knowledge ko of Christ that time, definitely, yung pambata lang din na level na alam kong may snack doon, alam kong may laro doon, something like that. But definitely, I know there has been a seed na na-plant sa heart namin ng mga kapatid ko at that time. And also, our lola, again, she's really very dedicated at bringing us, the whole family, to Christ. To a point na meron talaga kaming weekly na Bible study sa bahay. And I could still remember to this day, every time kami, ako or ng ate ko, I think our youngest sister, Blessy, wasn't around at that time yet. Or siguro super baby pa siya noon. 5 years ang gap namin. So medyo malayo-layo din. So again, going back, during Bible studies, there would be times na tatawagin ako or ang ate ko to actually read a portion of the Bible, or like read aloud a few Bible verses. And I could still remember to this day how much we would laugh about it. Or even during reading the Bible verse, we would just laugh and laugh. Alam mo yung pinipigilan mo while reading, pinipigilan mo yung tawa mo because you find it awkward, you find it something that you're not used to. So, hindi talaga siya something na parang parang free lang kami to do, or like, sanay kami to do, or ayun, like, hindi namin siya nakasanayan. I'm sorry. So, ayun. I want to touch that kasi I believe during those times, may ginagawa na si God sa lives namin. God has already planted a seed in our hearts as a family. And ayun, nag-high school kami, and ako, second year high school, my ate was graduating in high school na at that time. My sister was what? Grade 3? Grade 4? Yeah, I think grade 3 at that time when our parents separated. It was really devastating. I mentioned previously then how much it broke my heart. And ang naging response ko, aside from the trauma, meron akong trauma, but ironically, I jumped from one relationship to another. I mean, if meron kang trauma, you would not enter in relationships, right? Because you have that trauma, you have that fear, you have something in your heart that stops you from engaging in something that could break your heart again, something like that. But I did. I entered several relationships. I jumped from one relationship, from one man to another. And I have had six boyfriends back then. 2 months, I think, naglalast yung relationship. Siguro the longest was 4 months. And looking back, now that I'm already a Christian, I realized how much God has been involved even in my wrong decisions. Like, He was there taking care of me, preserving me. Why was I able to say that? Kasi God really preserved my purity, my virginity at that time. And imagine, pumasok din ako sa bisyo, naninigarilyo, umiinom with barkada and all that. So you would really think, well, if you ask my husband, he really thought na, looking at me as the party girl that I was, he really thought na, maraming nang nakagalaw dyan. Ganon. And he knew na I have had several boyfriends before him. So, yun yung naging assumption niya sa akin. But, amazingly, with God's divine intervention, really, I was really preserved by God's grace. And I really thank the Lord for that to this day. Na that during those times, God was there all along. Even when I did not commit my life to Him yet, He was there. He was already there. And He didn't wait for me to actually, like run to Him or know Him or love Him. He just loved me already, And it says actually in Romans 5:8 that, but God demonstrated His love for us, that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. And when I learned that verse or that truth in the Bible, yun agad ang naalala ko na, God, you didn't wait for me to obey you fully, to be faithful to you, for you to love me. You loved me even in those times na I was unfaithful, I was disobedient to you, I was rebellious and all that. So anyways, here comes my last boyfriend. Where, before, siguro, nag 2 months na kami, or nag 3 months na siguro. Yeah, I think 2 months lang kami na noon. Nung 2 months na kami, ayun na nga, di ba sinasabi ko before na I have had traumas in the past. And since nagpatong na kami ng 2 months, ayun na, lumalakas na yung trauma sa heart ko. But that was also the time that my mom got invited in a church. The church is at Beraka Community International, of which I am still involved in up to this day, and I'm really thankful that I grew up as a Christian there. So anyways, my mom got invited there. That was around August of 2012. It was around that time na na-invite si mommy sa church. And that same year, nagkaroon ng youth camp. It was outside the church. I mean, BCI initiated siya na youth camp, but hindi namin siya sa church ginawa. It was outside, it was at Y1 base, dito lang rin sa Davao. And during that camp, kami ng sister ko, I was with my younger sister. My mom was really pushing us to join. Hindi naman siguro pushing talaga, but she was really encouraging us to join. Pero syempre, di ba, at that time, we were new sa church, we were new sa community. So, meron pa kaming, naiilang pa kami, something like that. And, syempre, medyo bago rin yung culture. Kaya siguro, kailangan pa ng konting push to actually join the youth camp. So, ayun na nga, we ended up still joining the youth camp. During the camp, nagkaroon ng purity ceremony. It was about, I think, last day na ng camp. The purity ceremony was us being given a purity ring where it will symbolize as our commitment to stay pure and not engage in premarital sex, and just really wait for the day we get married before we can actually do the thing, which is sex. So, syempre at that time we were at a young age, and since that was already the last day, the final day of the camp, medyo marami na rin talaga kami natutunan. At that time, grabe, hindi ko ma-imagine na grabe yung impact din sa akin nung camp na yon. I learned a lot about God's love for me, na yung love na hinahanap ko from my past relationships after my parents separated. I jumped from one relationship to another because I was seeking for love. And here I am, nasa camp ako, and we were being taught na yung true love is mahahanap mo lang kay God, mahahanap mo lang kay Jesus. And grabe yung impact nun sa akin, that I really committed myself to the Lord and really joined the purity ceremony and really wore that purity ring. So, jump na tayo after